The snowstorm on Friday night took a lot of my front maple tree out. So I spent most of my Saturday cleaning it up, sawing the branches, taking 3 trips to the dump. The whole time my phone was muted because since the announcement on Friday that the city council would be taking up a mask mandate, my city email has been exploding. Yeah, 568 messages, and that was just about 40 minutes ago, so it's probably a lot more. But again, my phone is muted, so I don't know when they come in. Usually I get a nice little jingle and then I answer the email because I try to answer them all. And I'm going to try to answer all 600 of these if I even just say thank you. That's what I do. That's why they pay me. So I really want to hear what people have to say. And there's been some interesting emails. I've had some good dialogue with some people and some not so much. Here's one example of an unfriendly email. Yeah, and that was to me personally. The other unfriendly one that I found was to everyone. And of course, this has no effect on an elected official. If you really want to have us listen to you, you have to use language other than that. Be a little more charming. And there's other examples too. These are just the only two I found that had the F word in them. There's a lot more that says angry things. You know, what makes you the right to do all right, whatever. Anyway, this is the mask mandate 2. And it's very similar to the mask mandate 1. The language is really similar, except they toned back the punishment. So here's the ordinance that we'll be considering tomorrow. So the face coverings required. Every person shall, whether indoor or outdoor public place, wear a cloth or surgical face covering that completely covers the nose. So though we already know the, quote, science on masking and that the most effective for fighting viral infections is an N95, cloth masks have, especially the homemade ones, and the handkerchiefs like I wear, these pretty much are ineffective. and that's been out there a lot. You really want to block a virus, you got to use an N95. So definition for the purposes of public place shall mean pretty much anywhere. So the exceptions, there's always exceptions. So if it really was about keeping people safe, would there be no exceptions? Question for you. Children under the age of 5 years. People who cannot medically tolerate wearing a face covering. And here's where we can get in trouble. A person may be issued a citation if proof of a medical condition is not provided. That's illegal. We can't do that. You cannot ask people about their medical conditions. That's only between a person and their doctor. So at least the government hasn't screwed up to that point where we all have to start disclosing what's wrong with us in order to justify to a police officer that we don't have to do something ordered by the government. Penalty enforcement. Here's the fun part. Individuals and businesses within the city of Coeur d'Alene are urged to voluntarily comply with this resolution. Oh, voluntarily. Like traffic laws. The city will make efforts to educate individuals and businesses to achieve compliance. Violations of this resolution shall constitute an infraction with a fine of $100. We're not going to enforce it. Let's be honest. Watch the meeting tomorrow and see what the chief says. Now, the chief is a good man, and he's going to be honest. But he's also going to tell you that if we pass a law, no matter how much bullshit is in the law, he will enforce it because that's his job. So he's not going to make a political statement here. But he is going to tell you, and because I'm going to ask this question, now that we get all the masked Nancys and all the people who are going to be busybodies and start getting on the phone and saying, my neighbor's outside mowing his lawn and he's not wearing a mask, they'll be calling the police. The number of calls into the police department will be skyrocketing for the busybodies reporting their neighbors and friends who are not wearing masks. This is straight out of Orwell. This is the thought police. And so when the police are busy taking all these calls, they're not going to be dealing with bullying or someone who has their property stolen. They're not, because the lines are going to be flooded with masking busybodies. But then again, that's because we care. And then the effective date, which will be Tuesday, October 22nd. That's when they'll all start calling in and reporting their friends and neighbors and saying, hey, we need to arrest half the town who thinks this is bullshit. Folks, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you are upset that your neighbors don't want to wear a mask, stop trying to run their lives. People are smart enough to make their own decisions. And in this country, I would like to believe that people can be responsible and accountable on their own without having someone to take the fist of government and shove it up their See you on Monday.